Welcome, everyone, to episode 54 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, the Brian Urlacher episode, the Bobby Wagner episode. A lot of linebackers were in 54. Zach Thomas, I think, wore 54. So we have a lot of 54s, but the best 54 is going to be this episode of the Golden Squeeze, where we're going to start off talking about the recent WWE releases. It's a tale as old as time. There's always releases in the WWE. It's just that time of year, but there are some interesting names that have left the company. Some I'm perfectly fine with. I could care less about Javier Bernal, Oro Mensah, Gallus, Riley Osborne. Don't really care about Eddie Thorpe or Jakara Jackson. I actually don't really care about any of them except for Braun Strowman and Dakota Kai. But that being said, there's some other names on there that I am surprised by. I'm surprised by Cora Jade. And she had some interesting things to say on her way out. She talked about herself getting body shamed in the company and how no matter how hard she worked, they continued to make fun of her body. And she said it was the fans. She said it was her bosses. And she said it was her coworkers. I don't know if any of that's true or not. I think it might just be sour grapes. What fans were talking poorly and shaming her body? Who are these fans? Because I've only seen positive things about her body. But, not going to objectify anyone. That's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the releases. But
it was not me.
Sure was not me either. We only lift women up on this show. We don't put them down. But do you think that happened? I don't want to say it didn't happen, but she said that she worked out, that she was working out almost every single day, and that she was feeling really good about her body. But But everyone was putting her down, and I just never saw that in the internet wrestling community.
No, the only thing that I saw in respect to that was when she came back, some work had been done. You know what I'm referring to.
Hang on 1 second. It's not smooth right now. Talk.
Yo.
Okay. All right. Say it again.
In respect to the body thing, the only thing I saw when she came back was referring to it appeared she had some work done.
Not some enhancements.
Not on her face. So you know what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
But so I mean, and again, hey, I don't know the girl. I've got no reason to think she's lying about any of that. But the fact that I never heard anything mentioned about the way she looked prior to her being out for a while. So, and then if she comes back and she's had a procedure, that would maybe, make you think that, okay, maybe something was said to make her feel like she needed to do that. But again, I have absolutely no idea. The only reason I'm even bringing that up is because of the comments that she has herself made. So, but besides that, I've never seen anything negatively said about it, but I don't go in the depths of the internet either, or to her page and see what people are saying.
Well, Dave Meltzer said, and obviously you take what Dave Meltzer says with a grain of salt, and this is not me promoting Dave in any way, because he's only right about 10% of the time, but many of those cut were perceived as not working hard in training. And if you don't work hard in training, there's so many people who do. And at this point, if the feeling is you're not working hard in training, I saw the term lazy. The ones who are lazy are going to be gone, and the ones who didn't stand out are going to be gone. And then she said, then Gigi Dolan said, when I was traveling to work for either of the two companies I was working for, I trained very hard 3 to 4 days a week, bumping my ass off and doing cardio drills with one of the best, toughest coaches I've worked with, and worked out every single day with live events every other weekend. So yeah, I don't want to hear this. The way my body feels says otherwise. And then Cora Jade said this. Plus, can't forget having to go to my own gym outside of work after strength and conditioning that wasn't doing anything for me other than getting my body shamed by my bosses, coworkers, and fans. Crazy. Apparently, she's getting body shamed. I thought she was getting body praised, but apparently she's getting body shamed. So it is what it is. I will also argue working out 3 to 4 times a day or 3 to 4 times a week when that's what you do for a living. I don't actually view that as being a high number, but maybe she does. I think you should be working out every single day, if you ask me. If that's what you do for a living, I bet you guys But you guys like Roman are working out every single day. Just saying. But if that's what happened, I thought that we were past those kind of things in this company. Maybe we aren't. I'm not sure. But it's also a company where most of your job is being in scantily clad clothing in front of people. Therefore, you're going to be held to a certain standard. And I think that in those situations, it's okay to talk about somebody's body if that's what you do for a living. It's not like you're working behind a desk for a living. And then if someone says, hey, you're fat, then yeah, obviously that's a problem. But who knows what was going on behind the scenes? Who knows? It's also go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Also the release of Shayna Baszler. So Baszler's gone.
No, she's been misused for years, so that doesn't surprise me.
And then what's the other one? Who was in that group? The Fusion. What was their name?
Yeah, PFC, Pure Fusion Collective.
The second I got that name, it was over.
Yeah, I that didn't do him any favors either. But
what's the one girl's name whose name is Sonya Deville? Sonya Deville, she's gone.
Well, she had already been released, correct?
Yes, but I'm just saying from that group, there's only one person left standing.
Yeah, Zoe Stark. And Dakota Kai. I like Dakota Kai. A lot of the fans love Dakota Kai. So from that regards, with, she's got a strong fan base, kind of surprised how, and then just the reactions to her, like when I think a lot of fans wanted her to win the Intercontinental title when she went against Lyra, based on the reactions. But when she lost that match, it was either going to be one of two things. She was either immediately going to turn on Lyra and work towards the uphill battle of getting the belt finally, or she was going to fade into obscurity, and here we are. So, and I like her, and I don't like it, but based on recent booking, it does not surprise me. I think it's odd that they did have Gigi Dolan in a women's tag team title match, a televised women's tag team title match 2 weeks ago, if she was going to be one of the ones released, because I don't, and I agree, I don't see that being a product of not working hard, because you're not going to, in my opinion, from a business standpoint, you're probably not going to reward an employee with a spot against main roster talent on a prime spot of your I think they opened that particular episode of NXT. You're not going to give that opportunity to somebody who's not working hard, in my opinion. So that one was a little surprising, and me and you talked about this a bit the other day. The writing's on the wall here. The women's tag titles will not be around much longer.
How do you just get rid of them, though? How does that look? Do they just pull a WWE where they just don't have them anymore, and then they just don't say anything, and then they're just gone?
Well, I mean, they actually, if Liv is going to be gone for a while, there you go.
She takes it with her, and then
just have her do a heel move. Hey, we earned these titles. We're retiring them. There's nothing you can do about it. Make a heel move out of it.
Yeah,
I think it's simple enough if she's leaving. But I mean, look at that though. Liv's leaving for a while. Becky and Lyra already broke up. Gigi has been released, so it leaves Tatum Paxley without a partner, which thankfully, I mean, nothing against Gigi. I like Gigi Dolan. But Tatum Paxley, I think they should have I've said this on this podcast numerous times, and I think our 2 or 3 viewers, however many are left, probably remember. I think they should have strapped the rocket on her long ago. Dang it. Down to 0. That's unfortunate. But I'm missing some metaphor. Jakara Jackson has been released. So I think the only 2 left, because did you say Ora Mensah got released? Okay, so Jakara Jackson and Ora Mensah got released, so that leaves Noam Dar, who's the Heritage Cup champ, which remind me to circle back to that later, and Lash Legend, who they had a backstage segment with Metaphor talking about going their separate ways. I like Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend as a tag team, so the fact that they released her and then everything else I've said, plus Jade and Bianca are not a tag team anymore, and obviously neither are Bianca and Naomi. So there's and they released what's the tag team that were like the partiers? Their finishing move was the keg stand. Do you have that list?
I do.
Carter and Chance?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. I think that is it for the tag teams.
Well, could it be they're just revamping?
With who?
What did they used to do when we were kids with tag teams? Not when we were like really young, but we were like in like high school. What would they do?
Just throw two people together?
Throw two people together. And
I understand that, but there were usually some sort of established teams. I don't think there's any established tag teams left.
Yeah, okay, maybe. But are they going to have established tag teams in a division that's only been around for a couple of years? There's nobody established. Throw Tiffy and Charlotte in a tag team together or something like that. That would be an awesome tag team together. Throw who else? And Brooklyn and Bianca. That would be awesome. Something like that. Just do something like that. Give me an Edge in a Randy Orton. Give me a Mankind in The Rock. Like, come on. They used to do that all the time. Bring that back. Those tag teams were fun. We used to love watching those tag teams, and it elevated the title. It got that in a mainstream. They got eyes on it. That's what they need to do. They need to do that with the women's division if they're going to keep it. I don't need two middling NXT wrestlers to form a tag team. I don't need that. Give me some star power in the division, and that would be fun. And you could say, oh, Liv's got star power. Liv doesn't have star power. Come on, she doesn't have star power. Give me a real star. Give me a Charlotte. Give me Becky and Bayley or something like that. Something crazy.
Liv is super over, and you know she is.
She is, but Liv doesn't transcend anything. Liv is a wrestler's wrestler. She's a fan's wrestler. If I go ask someone down the street who Liv is, they don't know who Liv is. They might know who Charlotte is.
About to change. I think that's why she's missing time.
To be in an awful movie? Yes, that is why she's missing time. To be in an awful movie. It's going to be an awful movie. And what am I basing that off of? Nothing. I don't even know what it's about. But it's going to be an awful movie. I think I saw the cast. It was a cast I had never heard of anybody. So I don't know. We'll see.
I've got it here. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Never heard of him.
George Clooney.
Denzel Washington.
I'm kidding, folks.
And Meryl Streep.
Michael B. Jordan.
And the regular Michael Jordan.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe they are going to do that, but because I mean, if you think about it, they had an opportunity to get those titles back to NXT wrestlers, and they could have left it there. But just the fact that they're imploding all these teams, and the few like long-term tag teams have been released, I don't know, man. That's just I think the belts are going to be gone, but hey, hopefully they'll figure out something, and that maybe that won't be the case because there's going to be an outcry. But
I mean, we should have seen it coming. They can't build the men's tag team titles. Why would we think they could build the women's tag team titles?
Granted, now the men's had one of my personal favorite matches of past several months. Just happened a couple weeks ago. But
it's by accident.
That was a fantastic match. But see, and that's the thing. It's like they did a good job of building that. The build into that had kind of been brewing for a while. But then, like, that build for the War Raiders New Day was horrific. And they're both great tag teams, obviously.
Yeah. One is arguably the best tag team of all time.
Yes. But yeah, man. Let's see. Who else? Braun Strowman. I'm not surprised by this. I like Braun, too. I know you love Braun. But it became apparent what his role was.
Then why not? But keep him in that role. He did a good job at that role. What he did for Bronson Reed. Is Bronson Reed hurt, by the way? Is that why he's out?
Yeah, I remember I think he blew out both his ankles when that bonsai off the cage at War Games.
But he absolutely elevated him. He elevated Bronson Reed.
Agree. I agree.
Let him be a glorified enhancement talent. That's fine. There's a place for him in this company. He's too big for there not to be a place. And why was Omos' name not on this? Where is Omos? What is he doing? I keep seeing him on like backstage things talking.
Dude,
what is he doing?
I don't know, man. I am very curious about that. I'm curious as to why when she hasn't been around, and I need clarification if Zoe Stark is hurt, because I thought when I saw Shayna Baszler, I was like, oh, well, Zoe Stark's probably going to be on there soon, but that leads me to think that maybe they've got something planned for her soon.
They don't. She doesn't have the look for them to have something planned for her.
Well, they've put her in roles before that you wouldn't necessarily think they were going to put her in. They could have put any. They could have put a wide variety of people with Trish Stratus. So obviously they see something in her. I like her too. I think she's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that with some of the other releases that her name was not on there.
I was surprised I didn't see her name. I was sad not to see Wes Lee's name. I mean, there's some names I was looking for. Is Briggs still with the company?
Oh yeah. Oh, dude.
Josh Briggs. Is he still there?
Oh yeah. No, he's been wrestling with I'll think of his name in a minute, but they've got a good tag team going, but I think his partners are going to be going back to Japan soon. But Briggs is too good of a wrestler. They'll keep talking about there's a place for him. They'll keep him around. Now, it may not train.
It's not just wrestling. It's not a wrestling company. It's like the third thing that you need to have.
I understand, but I mean, for the time being, though, I think if they're not going to give him a run with some sort of title on NXT, I think they'll continue to use him in tag team or multi-man matches because they know they can count on him. And he's proven that over and over and over again.
I'd argue they can count on Braun if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I guess counting on somebody, the best abilities, availability. So maybe they're tired with how often he gets hurt and the way he walks, because he obviously walks like a man who looks like he's in pain. But I do wish him all the best because I've always been a Braun fan. I don't know where he went wrong. That first run where they just had him like flipping stuff over every episode, that was compelling television. So I don't know where he went wrong. They had him in main events with Roman. He was doing ambulance matches.
Well, they killed his push.
Right, and I think that had a lot to do with his behavior from what I've read, but whatever.
And I know we talked about that earlier, that they're not going to prominently feature somebody who they don't deem as doing what they need to at work. But at what point do they brush that aside and listen to what the fans are saying? Because they all wanted him to get the title at the time.
Well, you set an example. I don't think you ever do. You can't. I mean, if they're not being professional, then you can't rely on them later on.
We could run down a list of people back when me and you were watching who were not being professional.
But it's not the same company. Things are different now.
It was run by the same guy.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess.
At that time, it was run by the same guy.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, okay.
But I don't know. We kind of went off on that. Yeah, some are surprising. Others not so much. I'm surprised. If what I remember seeing is true about Gallus helping train The Rock or train with The Rock for his in-ring return.
That was a year ago.
No, I understand, but just seeing in the immediate aftermath of that, like when they came back as a group, how they just immediately pretty much flushed him down the toilet. I think they may have won stuff here and there, but it was not sustained at all. That had all the makings of, hey, you helped us out by training one of the bosses. Hey, we're going to give you some sort of a push here. And that just absolutely did not happen.
Yeah.
And then I knew it was the beginning of the end when I saw the advertisements for Evolve and Gallus was on there. I was like, oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah.
But
that's you're going the wrong way situation there if you're going to Evolve. But remember, the funny thing was when they first came back, remember how many segments were Gallus related? And I complained about that. It was like one episode had like 5 Gallus segments.
Surprise.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big Gallus guy, but so A lot of people leaving. Let's talk about people getting called up. So there were some call-ups, obviously, since WrestleMania. A few surprises there, some call-ups and some returns. Rusev is back, which is, I'm a big Rusev guy. We'll see how long until his wife comes back with him.
The Bulgarian brute.
Rusev Matza, Rusev Hittable. Whatever they're saying. I don't know. Aleister Black.
So I think you're just making up stuff.
I'm just grunting. Aleister Black is back. Somebody reminded me that Aleister Black he's been protecting a kayfabe injury now for like 4 years. Of when Seth Rollins and somebody else took out his eye. And he has been pretending to have an eye injury now since 2019, I believe. And that's amazing to me because kayfabe is dead. Unless your name is Dominic Mysterio, kayfabe is pretty much dead. So if he's been nursing an eye injury since 2019, then good on him. Because I think he pretends to have a fake eye. I think one of his eyes is a different color than the other.
Yeah, just I always thought it was just like a different contact.
It is a contact, but the reason why he wears that contact is to protect an injury from a stomp that he took off a step.
Okay.
So that's amazing to me. And he kept it well in AEW.
Yes.
So good on him. That's awesome. But yeah, kayfabe's dead. So I'm glad that he's doing that. So who got called up?
Yeah. Fraxium.
Which we knew, or expected, rather.
Yeah, but they're like an official call-up. They are part of the SmackDown brand, and they have looked great, as anybody who's seen them wrestle should not have expected otherwise. Man, those guys are so good. So good. And so we got Rusev and Aleister Black return. You got Fraxium. Okay, Roxanne and Julia showed up, which that whole thing is just weird to me already. And I just think they are already fumbling Julia's introduction to Raw. I thought she had a great introduction on NXT. And I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't like her being paired with Roxanne. I think they both need to just be on their own. But I like Julia's look. I like the new look she has with the hair and everything. But granted, it's like one of those things, I like that. But I also like her old entrance with that cool looking mask when she comes out. So, and they've had Stephanie Vakir on the first 2 weeks after WrestleMania. The first time, that's fine. Hey, Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, have her and Io Sky, which anybody who watches wrestling knew that there was no chance in hell that was going to be a clean finish when you have two champions going against each other. But it's like, the match was so good, I was hook, line, sinker, and of course you had the interference with Roxanne and Julia. But then when Stephanie Vakir, I don't know if I said Stephanie Vakir earlier, about facing Io Sky. If I called her Julia, I apologize. But when Stephanie Vakir came back the second week in a row, and they're like, her first official win on Monday Night Raw. It's like, what are they doing? If they are really going to try to convince me they were not aware of how great she was or how popular she was going to be with the Raw fans, and it took them having her in front of those crowds, that is foolish.
But it's what they've always done. They always assume that the main roster crowd, the Raw and SmackDown crowds, don't know who these people are.
But just look at her. Look at her.
Trust me, I do.
She's got it all. And they had to know everything. Everything they've done with her has been perfect to this point.
But they do know, but they have to do that because there is going to be a large contingent of people who don't know anything about her.
But I just think doing that, though, she doesn't have to have the title, the NXT title, to be doing this.
That's true.
And that's my thing. It's like they should have. Well, granted, I think if I remember correctly, because it seemed kind of quick when Julia lost the title, but I think some of that may have been visa related issues, if I remember correctly, with Julia. So hey, it is what it is. But then at Stand and Deliver, why not have her drop the title and call her up? It's a fatal 4-way, perfect opportunity. Have somebody else to eat the pin.
Yeah.
Still make her look strong. But I just didn't understand that one at all. If they're going to keep featuring her on Raw, why not give it to Jada? Why not give it to Jordan Grace? Why not give it back to Julia? But they've made it a point to say that Roxanne, which I don't understand this, saying Roxanne is not a full-time member of the Raw roster. Roxanne's
she's
done
fighting
everything.
Sky tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think they said that they're not listing them as full-time roster members, like, which there's nothing left for her to do in NXT. And she's already been wrestling up on the main roster, so I don't know what's going on with that. And I mean, same with them saying that about Julia. Just that whole thing has been very strange.
Yeah.
And but besides Fraxian, were there any other men that were called up?
I'm not remembering. It's been 2 weeks now since WrestleMania.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, on the woman's side of things, I heard or I read something about Stephanie Valkyrie being approached. When she was approached by WWE, they gave her two options. They said you can either go to NXT and be featured prominently when you start, and you'll be on pretty much every show, or you can go on the main roster and we can't make any promises. So she was given
Really?
that's what I read, and obviously I wasn't there. I don't know. And she said I'd rather start off in NXT and be featured prominently, and then we'll go from there. So I think that if that was the case and they couldn't make any promises in the main roster, I think that she made the right choice. But only time will tell whether or not she made the right choice. But there's no world where she should not be featured prominently.
Yes, and it's like if everything about her, if you couldn't, okay, and I know we talk about mic work as part of. She's got an abundance of everything else that I can overlook that. I don't care if she can't get a good promo. As long as she keeps doing that in the ring, I don't care. But I just
give her a mouthpiece. Let Paul Heyman finally get a girl.
How awesome would that be if she joined that group?
Yeah, why not?
It won't happen. I think it should be Becky.
If it won't happen,
but
I understand it's not going to happen. But I'm just saying there are options for somebody who cannot talk.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, if their thinking was, hey, let's get her in front of these Raw crowds and see, there shouldn't be any IC about it. I think Roddy Millsap, Ray Charles, and Daredevil all could have seen that she's a superstar. I don't need to see her on Raw multiple weeks in a row to prove that point.
Yeah, you're right.
She is the real deal. She's got and one of the big things you talk about, the size. She's got that. She's not like thin and like just small where it's like, you have to suspend disbelief to think, oh, she could beat this woman or this one, or it wouldn't, even against, like, I wouldn't bat an eye if she beat Tiffy or even Jade, Bianca, Bommy. No, she'd be fine with all. I'd have no issues thinking, yeah, that could happen.
She's not somebody I look at and notice their size. Yeah. So Liv, I look at her and I notice she's small. I notice that Becky is very slender. I notice things like that. I look at Stephanie and I just think, oh, it's a good wrestler. So I don't think that her size is a hindrance. I think that Roxanne's size is a hindrance. And I think that she has a ceiling because of that. I don't think the WWE thinks that.
No. And I think the announce team did a good job of touching on that. I think her fighting style, her wrestling style, kind of, and the heel tact. She's a great heel.
She is.
And the heel thing she does to cut the opposition down and even the playing field, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll see. I may change my mind on that. But yeah. And so real quick, talking about just strange booking things I think it was the NXT after Mania, Lexis King, who is the Heritage Cup champ at the time, went into the ring to challenge Ricky Saints to a future Cup versus title match. Winner take all, And fans love Lexus King.
Mm.
And they obviously love Ricky Saints. And so I was like, okay. And then they had a segment with Penn and Teller, like where he couldn't find the cup. And they're like, oh, well, we'll tell you where the cup is, but you got to agree to defend it against a mystery opponent. And that mystery opponent ended up being a returning Noam Dar. And Dar beats him and wins the cup. Why have
care
that?
About Noam Dar?
But why did they have that interaction with Saints and King? And then not only that, they had the match anyways last week. And it's like, why? What was the point of all that?
Probably something changed last minute. And
they could have still had that match, but just not do all that.
Yeah.
I thought that was very, very, very strange.
Yeah, that is strange. That is strange. Did anybody else get? So we're done with, I think that's all the call-ups that were.
I feel like I may be missing some. Man, that may be it, though.
The Repo Man, did he get called up?
No, not yet.
Well, we got a pay-per-view this weekend. Or PLE this weekend. Backlash. Randolph.
Backlash is already this weekend?
I believe it's May 10th.
Damn.
Which will be Saturday.
You making up stories again?
100% I could be. But I don't think I am.
Well, I'll be. It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is. Interesting card building up.
Yeah. We're going to get John Cena versus Randolph Orton for the very the very last time. Obviously not the first time.
say this isn't comedy hour. Don't say for the first time.
They fought a couple times before. We're going to have Becky get a title against Lyra. And what else do we have so far? Then Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
Who do you think wins that match?
Gunther versus Pat McAfee?
What do you think they have happen?
McAfee wins by DQ. Gunther wins by DQ. McAfee wins by DQ. Gunther just goes crazy, hits him with the chair.
It's not a no DQ match?
I just have it as Gunther versus Pat McAfee.
I was going to say, I've got a strange feeling Michael Cole's going to be involved with this.
There's not a single thing that Michael Cole could do physically that should alter this match in any way. Even if he had a gun, I would argue that he can't do enough to alter this match. Yeah. We also get Fatu, McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest.
God, that's going to be good.
Dude, book a multi-man match.
The fans love Fatu, man.
They should.
Do you think that's a problem?
No, I think it's fine.
I'm just wondering, do you think they take the belt off him now? When do you think Solo cost him? Do you think they save that? Can they save that? Or they could do a slow burn to SummerSlam. That's just a few more months. They could do that.
From a booking standpoint, it wouldn't make sense for Solo to interfere in that match.
Yeah, I think
a 5-man match, you don't need Solo to interfere for him to lose his title.
Dude, we're only about a month away from Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I think it's June 7th, I believe.
Get Solo win that and then go after Fatu.
Is that a prediction? Because I like that one.
That might be. I'll let you know after.
Dude.
I mean, I spent all last year saying my prediction was, or was it 2 years ago when I said that whoever was going to go after a mid-card title
with
the Money in the Bank. So why not this time?
Dude, that's a good one, man. That would be. Yeah, usually I have mine already in my head, planned out pretty soon after Mania. I don't have one right now.
Yeah.
I think for the women, I'd have to say Becky, especially if she's still going to be a heel.
At some point in time, they're going to pull the trigger on Jade. Question is when. She's a freak.
I could see Becky cashing in on Tiffy.
Who's our other champion? It's Tiffy and who? Drawing a blank.
Io.
I mean, Io's got to lose that title probably soon.
No.
Yes.
She's too popular with the fans right now.
It's more popular, Becky. Yes, stop it. Fans love Becky.
Of course, they'll always love her, but just
fans respect Io. I believe that they love Becky.
Oh, they'll always love Becky, but right now, in terms of like crowd reaction and popularity, your top 3 are probably going to be Mommy, Io, and Tiffy.
Yeah, maybe.
And
no, Mommy, Tiffy, Charlotte gets a big reaction. Might not be a good reaction, and it might not be the kind of heat you want, but she gets a big reaction.
Oh yeah. No, and I'm just talking about like that fans are cheering for universally. And dude, I'm telling you, somebody we already talked about is going to be on that list in a short span. And that's going to be Stephanie back here.
Yeah. Scarred on me.
Yeah. And Booker T.
Well, I remember one of the first things I ever said about her was I didn't think she had the look.
Stephanie back here?
Yeah, you don't remember when I said that?
Nope.
Well, I said it, and I've changed my mind.
Oh, dude, as soon as she came out with those horns, I was like, oh, yeah, dude. And the music, too. The music's perfect for her.
I was wrong. I was wrong. She has everything, except for maybe mic skills, but she has everything else.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yes, it was. That was amazing. Man, obviously, there's no chance Randy Orton's winning. We all know that.
I don't know that. They need to get out. They need to get the title off of a part timer anyway. I don't agree with you. I am taking Randy Orton to win when it comes time for prediction time. So we don't say we all. I am taking Randy Orton because they need to get the title off of John Cena somehow. And who better to take it off than Randy Orton? How else does he lose the title and win?
Stop. You already know who's going to get it back.
I have no idea.
Stop it.
Cody Raheem Rhodes?
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Randall Keith Orton.
Oh, I would love it. I've got no problem with Orton having the title. I've said that before. I think in a perfect world, it would have been a heel Randy Orton taking the title off of Cody. That would have been fantastic. I would have liked that.
I think John Cena wins, obviously. But I do not think that there's no way where Randy Orton doesn't win. I think that there is an avenue for him to win as a transition. John Cena was just acting as a traditional champion to get him the record and to move him on to the next thing that he wants to do. He obviously wants to go back, get all the hits. At some point in time, he's going to... I don't know whether or not his Elimination Chamber was his feud with Punk, and he's done with that. If that's the last interaction they wanted him to have with Punk, then okay, but he could still have a solo thing with Punk. He at some point in time, he's going to need to fight Nikki Bella. So, I mean, there's just some things he needs to do before he goes out.
Nikki Bella. Hey, something that I think they're going to do. He's going to fight Punk, and I think it's going to be on his last date, because he's got that countdown clock. He's like, not to the end of the year, like, or not this many matches, but appearances, and they're doing that thing. I think he's going to fight Punk. He's going to win. And reversal of Money in the Bank 2011, Cena is going to blow the kiss to Punk and exit through the crowd.
That's good.
I guess Punk blew the kiss to Vince McMahon at that point, but Cena's going to blow the kiss towards Punk or whoever and exit through the crowd.
Is there a world where at some point in time we get Cena, Rock, Travis Scott, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and the other guy, Seth Rollins? Is there a world where that could happen at some point? Because that could be a logical progression to get Punk and Cena involved with each other.
I'll be honest with you, and I like this. I have no idea where they're going with this Rollins, Breaker, Heyman thing. I don't know if they're adding more people, if they're going to circle back and get tied up with The Rock and all that. That's a very good question. Let's see, WWE. Hey, look at this. Hey, okay. So, remember how John Cena said this is the last year. December 2025. Guess where Saturday night's main event is being held?
Where?
Boston. They're doing that, dude. They are one. I am mark this date. They are doing that. Cena is going to win and walk out through the crowd with that title. And
what? On a main event?
Well, that would presumably be his last appearance because it's December of 2025. That's their last.
Oh, I still understand. Are they really going to do that at a main event, though?
Yes, because it's close enough to Cena. That
just seems so small. It seems so small to do that. That should be at like
what better
Survivor
way to make
Series.
it big?
Where's Survivor Series?
What better way to make it big?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, no, dude, I'm calling it. It's happening.
Is he really going to be heel until then?
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Because you're fickle.
Fickle! He should come back and fight John Cena one more time. He doesn't have a job.
That would be awesome.
Him and Nikki Bella versus John Cena in a mixed handicap match.
Gosh, dude.
You don't get enough of those. And then John Laurinaitis is in it too. Woo! I like it.
Yeah, dude. That's happening, man. That is happening.
Maybe.
That is happening. Any other big news we need to touch on before you go sleepy town? Because I'm not that far behind you.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend. I've been trying to hop on this 100 Men versus Gorilla train.
See that.
The first one I did got some traction there. But you all should go check us out on TikTok. Check out the 100 wrestlers that we think could potentially beat a gorilla. I'm up to 60.
Or people affiliated with WWE, as you will see. They're not all wrestlers.
They're all wrestlers.
Ones who have made appearances. They have all made appearances on WWE before.
As wrestlers. They are all people who have wrestled.
When did Arnold Schwarzenegger wrestle?
You don't remember that?
Because it didn't happen. Stop it.
He fought Hogan.
Stop it.
He didn't.
You're just making up silly.
They're all Hall of Famers or wrestlers. They're all. I had to bend the rules a little bit to get Tyson, Schwarzenegger, and Shaq.
No, and that's fine. They have all appeared at WWE events before.
They are all Hall of Famers. They didn't just appear; they're in the Hall of Fame or wrestlers. I think that's fair.
Tyson, Schwarzenegger, Shaq's in the WWE Hall of Fame?
No, but he actually wrestled.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He was in the Andre the Battle Royal, so he actually wrestled.
Did he come out in the Shaq Gnosis shoes?
Yeah, and then he had the stare down with
Big Show.
Big Show, yeah. And they were supposed to have a program, and then I think Shaq backed out or something, but because that led to absolutely nothing. So yeah, they either wrestled or are in the Hall of Fame. So it counts. It counts. But yeah, 40 more people to go. Stay tuned. Go ahead and like and follow us on TikTok at The Golden Squeeze. And you'll get to see parts 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hopefully they actually happen because it's a lot of wrestlers. It's only a matter of time before El Torito makes his way into the list. I already got Hornswoggle on part 2. Well, I think that's going to wrap up episode 54 of the Golden Squeeze podcast, talking about additions and subtractions from the main roster and the NXT roster as well. If you liked what you heard, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Golden Squeeze podcast.
Oh, and the interlocking fingers.
Oh, yeah.